everybody, what is going on? As always, thanks for stopping by to check out today's video. As you can see, we're out for another ride, back for another video today. We got my guy Joe Philly 2 Wheels up there on his Triumph Speedmaster, and we're going to talk a little bit about that bike today. So we are currently on for a little ride here outside the city. We're up near Phoenixville. Did a loop outside toward Chester Springs, looped around, coming back in through Phoenixville, then we're going to take a little cruise through Valley Forge. So, as you know, normally we're riding around Philly, but today we're outside the city, going to take a loop through Valley Forge. And we're going to take a look at that nice Triumph Speedmaster that we got up ahead of us there, that he's riding. And the interesting thing about the Triumph Speedmaster is, in my opinion, I feel like it's probably one of the best forgotten Triumph motorcycles. And so what we're going to do here in a minute is we're going to hop off these bikes at Valley Forge. We're going to get a closer look at his Triumph Speedmaster. We're going to talk to him a little bit about his experience on that bike, get his thoughts on it, how he ended up with it, what he thinks of it so far. And then we're going to compare it to the Sportster a little bit. We're going to take a close look at the Triumph Speedmaster, how these two bikes compare, who they're for, all that good stuff. So make sure you stick around to check that out. But yeah, when you think about Triumph motorcycles, I feel like the Speedmaster is a very good, practical, super functional motorcycle in the Bonneville lineup. And I feel like it gets forgotten about sometimes because, I mean, honestly, Triumph has a lot of great bikes in the lineup. You know, you see a lot of speed twins, street twins. You see the classic Bonneville, the T120. You see a lot of the Bobber. And I think a lot of those get a lot of love, especially the Bobber, because it's kind of like a very cool, unique, you know, flashy type of bike. It's very, you know, pleasing on the eyes. That's what people are looking for these days, is Bobber style motorcycles. But I think the Speedmaster does not get a lot of love, because I've been riding with him for a little while now, and I think really the functionality that this bike can serve for someone is like unlimited. And that's what he's going to give us some insight into in just a little bit here. So I would say the Speedmaster is probably in the same class as the Sportster. These are both somewhat of, you know, a smaller to mid-sized type cruiser. These are both 1200 engines. These are both bikes that are going to serve you pretty well in kind of the stop and go urban type city atmosphere, but also both of these bikes are going to serve you pretty well kind of getting out and traveling pretty far, because like I always say, I've traveled pretty far on my Sporty, and I know he's been doing a lot of traveling on his Speedmaster. So these are both bikes that are very comparable for that purpose, both 1200 engines. Now the Triumph Speedmaster is liquid cooled compared to the Sportster, which would be all air cooled. So with all that said, and now maybe this is just me, maybe just anecdotal, I don't know, but being around Philly, being around the city, different places, I see a lot of Triumphs. You know, there's a really good Triumph dealer here in the city, but a lot of people are buying the Bobber. They're buying the Speed Twin, the Street Twin. I even see a lot of people buying the Rocket 3, you know, Speed Triples, Street Triples, all those things are Triumph. It's almost like the Speedmaster kind of gets a bad rap for whatever reason. You know, people are kind of drawn to these other models in the Bonneville lineup, but when you think about the function of this bike and all the different practical purposes that this bike can serve, and some of the features too, which we're going to go over in a minute, from what I've seen so far riding with him for a little while now, it's just a super, really good, reliable, functional, comfortable bike for both the city or even traveling some long day trips and stuff. And like I said, we're going to pull over here in just a second as we get into Valley Forge. We're going to take a look at that. We're going to do a walk around of the bike, and we're going to get some of his insights on what he thinks of this bike so far. So if anybody out there is a little more familiar with the Speedmaster or the Bonneville line or Triumphs in general, I would be curious to know, you know, what the perception is for other people out there is on the Speedmaster. So drop it down in the comments. Let me know what you think of the Speedmaster down there and how it compares to other motorcycles in the Triumph lineup. So we're entering Valley Forge now, and just real quick before we pull over to take a closer look at this bike, again, some of the finer points, you know, you're looking at about a 27.5-inch seat height. It does sit pretty low. The engine is putting out about 77 horsepower, 78 foot-pounds of torque. It does have 2 rider modes on it. You are going to have dual discs that you're going to see in just a minute when we show you that. It's got the monoshock, so it kind of represents that rigid frame with the monoshock hidden underneath there. Oh, we're really getting into some depths of Valley Forge now. Alright, so we're going to pull over, get a closer look at those points I was just talking about, and take a closer look at his bike too. Alrighty, so there she is, the Triumph Speedmaster. You just saw that cut up, that walk around of it right there. So getting a closer look of it. Like I was saying on the way over here, man, this thing is pretty nice. You got the dual discs up front. Like I said, 1200 cc liquid cooled engine right there. You got that classic Bonneville look and those classic Bonneville lines. The hardtail look with the monoshock underneath that you can see there. And like I was saying, this thing is a little bit compared to the Sportster, I would say, when you think about the smaller to mid-size type cruisers. And we got Joe Philly 2 Wheels here. He's going to give us a little more information on this bike. So how long have you had it and how's it been treating you so far?
Yeah, Moto John, I've had this for about 9 months, almost 5,000 miles on it. Thing's a beauty. Puts out whatever I give it, so.
And so one of the things that I was saying on the way over here that I really like about kind of the look and functionality of it is, obviously everybody knows we live in the city of Philly, so we're doing a lot of urban riding, but we're getting out there on the highways too. So how's this work for you in both the city and out on some of those longer trips that I know you take?
Well, I love it in the city. You know, it's great for just bumming around town, ripping from stoplight to stoplight. Has a lot of torque, especially for its weight. And on the highway, I think I let up before the bike does. It's got 6 speeds. So I've yet to go wide open throttle on it all the way, but I've taken it quite to the edge of that speedometer.
That's another thing I forgot to mention on the way over here. So it's one of the differences between this and the Sportster. Like I said, similar engine, 1200, but this is liquid cooled, and it also has those 6 speeds. So when you think a little bit about that performance, it's going to probably most likely outdo the Sportster.
I don't want no sporty haters, but for sure.
But yeah, I mean, I'm never afraid to admit when the Sportster's lacking. So some of the stuff that you've done to this so far, I know you got the bars here. This originally comes with like the lower beach bars, is that right?
Yeah, for sure. And I threw these mini apes up on here. I also switched up the mirrors, threw some underbar mirrors on there, cleaned up a couple different things. Also threw the Vance and Hines slip-on pipes on, just give it a little extra rumble.
Perfect. Yeah, like I was saying, that's one of the things I really like about the kind of the look and the style and functionality of this is we're going to be able to pop around town super quick and easy. It's light, it's versatile, but also it's got some nice big beefy tires on it. You can eat up some highway miles real quick. So what do you think about kind of the perception of this bike within the Triumph Bonneville lineup? I was saying on the way over here, I think it's kind of probably like maybe a little forgotten sometimes. It doesn't have like the sexiness of the bobber that a lot of people love. It's kind of in between the T120 and the bobber. What do you think about the perception of this with Triumph riders?
Definitely forgotten child. I mean, everyone appreciates a good Bonneville. I think the bobber is the one that gets the love, right? It's got that sexy cutoff back, but
exactly.
I mean, what it's about with the Speedmaster is what you can do with it, right? I've already kind of stripped mine down and taken the back seat off, but if I want to throw a pillion on there, real nice and easy to do. You know, and I think that there's a long history of people bobbing and chopping Triumphs and giving it that kind of look. What I like about this versus the bobber is it's a little more honest in terms of it being a cruiser, right? And it definitely gives a good performance as well. All the same kind of features as the bobber black with those dual discs. And the thing kind of doesn't have its real place in the Triumph family or in a cruiser family either. It's kind of a little bit of hybrid of both because you got that more standard kind of position but slight forward on the pegs. What I gotta say though is that it fits perfectly for me. And that's what matters most, right? You can look at a bike all you want, but it's different when you're riding it. And that's where it's important for it to be harmonious.
Yeah, wanted to pull over, get you guys a closer look at this bike, talk a little bit about it, drop your thoughts down there in the comments, let us know what you think about this Speedmaster, if anybody's got experience with it, where you think it fits in the Triumph lineup, where you think it fits compared to the Sportster. Let us know what you think about this bike down here. So thanks to Joe for letting us take a look at his bike. We're gonna hop back out on some roads here to Valley Forge. We're gonna keep going. We'll catch you in just a second back on the bike. Alrighty, so there you have it. That's a closer look at the Triumph Bonneville Speedmaster. Man, just like we say, that's a good bike, man. Like, it's agile and quick enough around the city. It's bulky and beefy and powerful enough out on the highway. He likes it. I think it's a pretty cool bike. Let me know what you think down in the comments again, what your thoughts are on that Speedmaster. A lot of nice features too, like we were saying, dual discs, ABS, cruise control is one I forgot to mention, rider modes, all that good stuff. Like I said, it is a little bit more expensive than the Sportster, so that kind of justifies some of those features and things, but very comparable bikes. Definitely a lot of good modifications you can also do to the Speedmaster. But yeah, just like we were both saying, we feel like it's kind of the forgotten Triumph. I think it's an awesome bike, man. It's super functional. You can do a lot more with it than the Bobber. You're going to be in a little bit more cruiser riding position than like the T120 and different things like that. So that's going to wrap this one up as we take this last leg of the stretch through Valley Forge here. We're going to link up, get back into the city, finish up this ride. Like I said, let me know what you think about that bike, the Speedmaster, how it compares to the Sportster, or if you have any experience with the Triumphs and the Speedmasters or the Bonnies. Let me know what you think about them. As always, thanks for checking out today's video. If you like riding around, checking out Philly, talking bikes, checking out different bikes, meeting up with people, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video. We'll catch you on the next one. It's the Moto John. We'll see y'all on down the road. Peace.